Sam Bankman-Fried refuses to take responsibility. Now, we all know about the FTX collapse by now and the criminality of Sam Bankman-Fried. Now he's doing what many white-collar criminals do, trying to absolve himself of all wrong. Take a look at this headline. Sam Bankman-Fried launches a newsletter to defend himself. How wonderful is that, to be of that kind of influence and affluence, that you just gonna go ahead and start your own newsletter to shout out, oh, I didn't do it. We won't waste your time with a lot about what this criminal said, but he posted this newsletter on the platform Substack, and it did write, quote, I didn't steal funds, and I certainly didn't stash billions away. Nearly all of my assets were and still are utilizable to backstop FTX customers. I have, for instance, offered to contribute nearly all of my personal shares in Robinhood to customers, or 100% if the Chapter 11 team would honor my D&O legal expense indemnification. Now, this is what this man is saying, as if he's some hero. You want to talk about rewriting history and audacity? It brings back the vibes of a certain someone. Take a look.
And I want to say this to the television audience. I made my mistakes, but in all of my years of public life, I have never profited from public service. I've earned every cent. And in all of my years of public life, I have never obstructed justice. And I think, too, that I can say that in my years of public life, that I welcome this kind of examination, because people have got to know whether or not their president is a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
Yeah, the people gotta know. Now, while Sam Bankman-Fried is no elected official, he did dollop with a whole bunch of them, both Democrats and Republicans, giving all kinds of money, cash, baby, donations to these folks to run for office, including the current president of the United States. He tiptoed through the tulips in this Ohio congressional 11th district as well. He was all over the country. He gave a whole lot of dark money though to Republicans. Yes, this man did. Because you know what? If you can buy elected officials, they will do your bidding. Mayor.
Listen. Your interests become their interests when you give them money that they can gain interest off of, right?
Come on.
That's what I hear what you're saying, sis, and it ain't no lies to it. Because why else would you give so much? Why else would they charge you $600,000 for a plate? Unless that plate was eaten off by Jesus, you can keep it because it ain't worth it. So let's just say something, because it's something serious about this story. The disgusting, arrogant nature of being able to get out of prison on $250 million bail. $250 million bail. It criticizes the bail industry. It says this person has done something so egregious, but that's because he had the resources, we can let him go. We know people sitting in jail in Selma, Alabama right now for more than 3 years just because they can't pay $400.
There it is.
$400. This man stole over $12 billion from people. I think he and every celebrity that went along with this scheme should all be held culpable, because it is absolutely ridiculous, and it is also highlighting something that I'm super happy about: the problems with capitalism. It is nothing except a festering sore waiting to boil over. And this guy, SBF, and his dad, don't let his dad off the hook, is also a festering sore. And people keep saying, why? People, every time I talk about SBF, I say you have to talk about his father, because his father is lawyer and his lead advisor in his Alameda fund, and all of that is where that money went. So I'm telling people, pay attention, and I mean pay attention.
Yeah, man, a lot of working class people lost almost everything because they were investing in this, to become wealthy. So they deceived people, and there's a consequence to this. Man, let's put up this headline real quick about you saying, how did Sam Bankman-Fried make his $250 million bail? Yeah, how did he? Inquiring minds want to know. Though Mr. Bankman-Fried was not required to pay $250 million, a large amount of the bond in this high-profile case has raised questions about the federal bail process. This is the way the injustice system works. If you are wealthy, you're gonna do just fine. If you are poor, the system will try to crush you. Let's take a look at Khalif Broader and his family. were held hostage by the cash bail system because of $3,000. A point, Mayor, that you were just making. Khalif Browder was held at Rikers without trial from 2010 to 2013 for allegedly stealing a backpack containing valuables. During his imprisonment, Browder was in solitary confinement for 700 flipping days. 2 years after his release, he hung himself at the age of 22. 2 different systems. And there are many examples that we can give like this, but we're just gonna go ahead and park this one. We just want you to marinate on this one. Because Sam Bankman-Fried gets to just tiptoe through the tulips. You got this 22-year-old Khalid killed himself. Just one of the countless examples that we can give you. And meanwhile, folks like Sam Bankman-Fried and Trump's former right-hand man, Alan Weisselberg, are gifted practical slaps on the wrist. Let's take a look at this. Weisselberg gets 5 months at Rikers. He will be out before the cherry blossoms bloom in Central Park. The man's, Jesus. He committed tax fraud on behalf of the Trump organization for 15 years. 15 years. So this is the racism and the classism of the injustice system itself. This is what people like myself and Mayor Robinson and others who are in this arena talk about all the time. You cannot pretend like you don't understand what is happening in this country and what has been happening since its inception. This is it. And there are ways that we can combat this, really. We need to elect elected officials who actually get it and will use their political power that was given to them by the people to actually change systems. So starting with the pretrial detention process, the Bail Project provides just some of the ways in which we can change the system. Let's put this up quickly. Reimagining pretrial detention. In cash bail, freedom should be free. Pretrial detention must be the rare, limited exception. Return people to their communities and provide support. Treat people as people, not statistical risk, and ensure that progress outlasts us all. That's coming from the Bail Project, and that is really good. And we're not talking about the worst of the worst. We understand that there may be some circumstances and some people where that might not work, but the overwhelming majority of people finding creative ways to decrease recidivism, to keep people out of prison, to help them live a good life, to lift them, to not let the mistakes that they made be the total definition of their lives, should be the path that we follow first instead of the other one.